You've read the emails. Are they legally damaging? And if so, by how much?
You know, I think we go further from is it plausible evidence of collusion to whether this constitutes conspiracy. Collusion being a political term, conspiracy being a criminal term, and I think you have Robin Mueller investigating the criminal aspect of it. Here you have a situation where the intent is very clear to go into the meeting to obtain political dirt on Hillary Clinton. You have three people at the meeting who all appear to be knowledgeable about why they're there, and in fact, at the meeting, if the information wasn't turned over, which the White House alleges it wasn't, these people leave. Why did they leave if they weren't there but to get the dirt?
Do you see this then? Are you talking about federal election law, which says that an agent of a foreign government cannot influence a state, federal, or local election? Is that the law? What kind of law are you talking about?
Right. I'm talking about conspiring to violate obtaining a thing of value from a foreign country, and in fact it's a foreign adversary, and whether it constitutes election fraud or not.
So the real distinction here, the important one, is that collusion, which is the word that has been thrown around loosely over the past months, is not a crime. There is no such crime as that. Conspiracy, however, can be, correct?
That's correct.
How could, is there a possibility, I don't want to impute motive here, but the fact of the matter is that Donald Trump Jr. and his brother-in-law were rookies in politics. Mr. Manafort was anything but a rookie. Could this have been just clumsiness and unawareness of what the laws said you could and could not do? How, in the course of a campaign, you could and could not interact with someone from a foreign nation?
These are people who are sophisticated businessmen who are surrounded by lawyers. They could have easily asked the question, should I go to the meeting or not? Should I attend a meeting with Russia, a foreign adversary, or not? Moreover, what you're saying is really only three people knew about it, and it's not clear that others did not know about it as well.
So let's go back to this conspiracy idea, because as you noted, collusion, not a legal term necessarily, Jeff, but when conspiracy to commit election fraud is, and I briefly perused the statute this morning, and you look at sort of the idea and the legal basis for it, and if this all comes out to be true, it would seem that the onus would all be on Donald Jr. and possibly Kushner. But in your analysis and what you've seen, is there any way it would make its way to the president at all?
Well, we don't know who the president had lunch with that day. Did he have lunch with Manafort? Did they discuss the upcoming meeting in the afternoon? Did the president know about the upcoming meeting? Did he deter them from going? Did he encourage them from going? We don't know any of those facts. And so when that comes out, I think we'll know more about what that involvement would be.
Now, what about the fact you point out they left? The woman who they met with, the attorney, tells NBC News she's not associated with the government. In the email, they clearly think they're going to meet with someone from the government. Ultimately, if the meeting leads to nothing, is it still conspiracy?
Well, we don't know what really happened at the meeting, because if you look at the chronology, the hacking occurred soon thereafter, and the leaking of the information occurred about a month later. So we don't know what actually was discussed at the meeting and whether any agreement came to fruition. If in fact, from the emails from the New York Times story on Sunday, it appears clear that the Russian government was involved and that Donald Trump Jr. knew about that.
The president, I believe, has said, or the White House has said, that the president was not aware of this meeting.
That's correct.
I believe that is the case. Do you find it curious, Jeff, that it seems as though, now Donald Trump Jr. is under no obligation to disclose, as I understand it, all of his meetings with foreign people, because he's not a U.S. government employee. Neither, by the way, is Mr. Manafort, but Mr. Kushner is. Do you find it curious that it seems like so many people have forgotten so many meetings with Russians?
Well, that's an inference of guilt, and one could look at that and say, is there a cover-up involved? Why are these meetings forgotten? There was one time they were saying that the FBI was telling them not to include all the meetings in the SF-86, but I think that's highly unlikely that an FBI agent would say that.